All right. Welcome aboard. This is the podcast for wearing several hats called The Circuit. And today we are going to be interviewing Vernell Wilson. So we appreciate you being on the show.
Good morning.
So
Good morning.
Vernell's got some things that she's going to talk to us about, some projects that she has that are running. So I'm looking forward to hearing what she has to say. So Vernell, where were you born at? Are you from Detroit area? Are you from the UP, South, Mississippi, somewhere?
I was born in the South. I was
Okay.
born in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay. All
I've
right.
been in Detroit now for about 30 years.
Mm-hmm. So you was raised in Detroit or raised in South Carolina?
Raised in South Carolina.
Okay. All right. All right. You don't have that South Carolina sway, that things that sound that they have, that accent, that South Carolina. Did you used to have it and got rid of it? I know some people get rid of it through time, or you just never had it, or
I always speak, the
the way you
way I
speak.
do. There's some words that I say.
Mhm.
Some people would recognize that it is a Southern dialect. So I
Okay.
actually still have that. And
Okay.
it comes from time to time.
Now, it is dialect for South Carolina the same as North Carolina?
I would say no. I
No.
would I
Okay.
would say no. Yeah, and
Okay.
there's some parts of South Carolina where it's even different.
Okay.
Like on
What
the
was?
islands, like Johns Island, James
Oh,
Island,
wow. I didn't think
some
about
of those
those.
areas.
Yeah. What
hmm
schools did you go to down there, or up here, or anywhere?
Oh, okay. So I went to Charleston High School
Okay.
in high school, and I went to the College of Charleston for a couple of semesters.
Hmm.
And then I went to the Baptist College of Charleston,
Okay. All right.
which is now Charleston Southern University.
Okay. All
And
right.
I went to Walden University, where I got my master's degree.
And with all these different schools you went to in your master's degrees, what was your aspiration? What was your goal that you were looking forward to doing?
Well, my goal when I first went to college, I thought I would major in nursing to become a
Okay.
nurse.
Okay.
And then I changed that to medical records administration.
Uh-huh.
And I got my associate's degree in medical records administration. And then I later decided to get a business degree. So I majored in business administration with emphasis in management.
Hmm. And you have a book out, don't you? Don't you have a book or a couple books? I'm not sure how many books you may have written, but you've written a book or two.
Yeah, I do have a book that
Okay.
I recently published. Well, it's been about maybe 3 years now that it
Okay.
was published, but I was working on it for quite some time.
Okay.
But yeah, I
What's the
do
name of
I
the
do
book?
have a book out. So this
So,
book is it's based on a true story of Christmas events that started,
okay.
oh my goodness, very long time, decades ago. And my grandmother, actually my husband's grandmother, but I knew her as a grandmother as well because I didn't know my own grandmothers. But she had pretty much asked me to write the story of what she and her husband started when they moved from Pennsylvania to Detroit. And they started gatherings around on Christmas Eve where
Hmm.
the family gets together and they share food and exchange gifts, and
Okay.
they
Yeah.
invite neighbors, friends, and everybody just get together and have a wonderful time. And she
Okay.
wanted me to write her story, and by the grace of God, I was able to finally get that book published
Sounds like a
and
great
tell the
story.
story.
Where
Yeah,
can they buy that book at?
thank
Is
you.
it on Amazon Prime? Where can you purchase a book?
It is on Amazon,
Okay.
but they can also purchase it directly from Doran's Publishing, that is the publisher, and I have some copies that are also available for sale.
Okay.
So they can
So
actually reach out to me as well.
one of the real things that we're here, you are putting together, or you have a thing called Stop, the takeover of patents. And that means a lot to me as well, because I've got about a couple patents myself I got two patents but two patents myself. So I'm concerned about that. So can you tell us a little bit about Stop and how you came up with that?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about an ad
Hmm.
to place um, for an upcoming Black Inventors
Okay.
Museum
Okay.
um, in Chicago. And I wanted to support that event in some way and purchase an ad. Wasn't sure what to do an ad on. I mean, I had several things I thought about. And
Hmm.
then suddenly it came to me to do an ad on Stop,
Okay.
STOP,
All
Stop,
right.
and that is Stop Takeover of Patents,
Okay. Stop
and
takeover.
that's based on a personal experience that my family has been dealing with for many years.
So tell me what made you become involved in that? What's the issue that took place, or as so other inventors can know where you're going, where you're coming from on this part?
Yes, well, our patent was infringed upon,
Okay.
um, and according to our former patent attorney,
Uh-huh.
there are a lot of them out there.
Oh.
So there are
Okay.
many infringers that have taken over our patent.
Okay.
And the patent is it stems from an invention camp that
Mm.
we, placed our daughter in when she was
Okay.
7 years old. She was in
Hmm.
second grade. And the children had to come up with a product.
Okay.
Um, and they had to display this, give a presentation, demonstration of how it worked
Hmm.
at the end of the camp, and invited friends, family, people to come and and see their um, presentations. And there are a few kids who were encouraged; their families were encouraged to have their products patented.
Uh-huh.
And my daughter and my family was one. We were encouraged by the instructors. Oh, this is great. You should have it patented.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
that's how we got involved with patenting.
Okay. Okay. So for someone who never has patented something, we got people. A lot of people listen to this show. What's the biggest misconception inventors have about protecting their ideal? I'm sure there's a lot of misconceptions, but what is the biggest one that you can think of that they have
Yeah,
about
the
protecting
biggest
ideal? Yeah.
misconception. Yeah, the biggest misconception that my family has experienced is that we truly thought that once you have a patent, and we actually had a U.S., Mexican, and
Hmm.
Canadian patent,
Okay.
at one time. But we held on to the U.S. patent, and it was just, we could have lost it because we fell on hard times at one point, but for
Okay.
some
Yeah.
reason, we still managed to hold on to that U.S. patent.
Uh-huh.
Um, and we thought that your patent truly was protected because it is your
Mm.
idea, your patent. But we found out that that's not necessarily the case. And even when you start a litigation process, that, you know, from what I understand, if you're dealing with giants, as we were,
Right. Right.
your attorneys can be literally, they could be paid off.
Whoa.
The giants that we were dealing with actually had, um, when our attorneys met with them, told them to drop us, to
Hmm.
literally drop us. And at that time, they said they were not going to abandon their clients. But, I
They can do
found
that.
out that sometimes those attorneys can be paid off. And I certainly think that that may have happened in our situation.
So you said there's underhanded trickery, robbery, things that they should not be doing that maybe they probably think they can't get caught at, perhaps.
Oh, we have found so many unscrupulous activities that took
Mhm.
place during our lawsuit, and we've had other attorneys look as well, and they agreed and said yes, you did have an infringement. Many of them say yes, you did have an infringement of your patent, but you're dealing with the giants, um, and your patent attorneys are reputable, and yeah, so. we found that there was a lot of unscrupulous things taking place, even from the court itself, that later sent us a letter informing us that the the judge had stock in the defendant's company and should have recused himself, but he did not recuse himself. And so it was like, one thing after another. We were supposed to have a settlement conference that they did not even inform us of.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. It was a lot of details. A lot of unscrupulous things took place, and that's one of the reasons we do believe that they may have been paid off the way things just kind of like everything was going strongly at first. And I was even told by our former patent attorney that, they said, yes, they were shown your patent, and yes, they are making the product, but that I knew that they were making it, and but he and I both knew that I did not know that I did not give them permission to make the product, but they in fact were making it. They literally changed their design in 2009, the same year that our patent was shared with them by an executive of another major company, who had informed us that he was going to try to get, our product on their shelves, their shelves, but instead he shared it with a giant, and the rest was history.
So, being on the circuit, the podcast, what is the message that you're trying to send to inventors or non-inventors? What is the message on this stop process or program that you're putting together? What is the real core message that you want to send to them, that you want them to get? If they don't get nothing else, what do you want? This one little thing, this one thing I want you to really pay close attention to.
Well, I want them to be very selective if they decide to hire a patent attorney. I really want them to be very selective in choosing a patent attorney.
Okay, all right.
They certainly would not want a situation to turn out the way it did in our case.
So about choosing, how do you, I'm sure that you can go to Google and there's tons of patent attorneys you can choose from. So how do you say, I want you to be careful in choosing them, but careful at what? They all say they are patent attorneys. They all say they've done it before. What would you specifically look for so that you know that they're not going to screw you over?
I would probably recommend that they ask to speak with clients that they have done work with, and especially those that they filed patent lawsuits on behalf of, and just find out how they, did for them, what kind of experience, that they had in that process. Ask questions. Definitely ask questions, and also ask about cost up front, because we learned some years later that we were, double charged for some things that the patent attorney actually spent for instance, professional patent opinions. Our charge was double than what the patent attorneys was. And looking back retrospectively, I also think that we were paid a whole lot more than average for our US, Canada, and Mexico patents.
So they double charged you. Is there anything you could have done to prevent that you could tell us that we can look forward to try and prevent something like that to happen? Or they get you, they just got you?
They just send you the bill.
Yeah, it's almost when you don't know what they're going to charge you, because they don't say up front, this is going to cost this much. Like if you go to McDonald's, I'm getting this is what it costs. With patents, they say, well, we got to work on it. We're going to see. Well, they don't really tell you what the end price is going to be, do they?
Well, we were actually given a price that it would approximately be for one opinion, like $1,800.
Okay.
Yeah, and then so it turned out to be like $1,840, and we ended up paying like $3,040. Right. So a couple of $1,000s more.
Okay.
That's just one example.
Well, you've worked with a lot of inventors with a lot of different diverse backgrounds. What are some of the most common mistakes that inventors make when putting their patents or intellectual properties at risk? What are some of the mistakes that you've seen?
Well, I believe that a common mistake would be to be caught off guard,
Hmm.
especially in networking and
Okay.
meeting people that have a lack of integrity and would promise you, oh, we can help get this on our shelves. We can help license your your patent.
Okay.
We have we have spent so much. We have lost so much money with these type of unscrupulous people, with companies,
Hmm.
that said they can manufacture your product. They'll give you one price, and then as time goes on, they'll tell you something different, and now it's like, it's
Right.
much higher than they originally quoted. So those kind of situation, and we've been involved in those scenarios as well, and lost a lot of money in the process. So they
Do
need to
you
be aware of those kind of, I guess, scams
do
that
you
are
think
out
it's a
there.
monopoly that all the attorneys know about and they all kind of run this scam together? Or do you say, well, just like cops, there are some good cops out there. There are some good attorneys out there that doesn't do that kind of stuff. What's your take on that?
Oh yeah, I always believe that they're good people.
Hmm.
In whatever situation, devious situation you might experience, they're always good people.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes, even good people can be bought off.
Okay.
Um, I was just recently, I recently had a conversation with someone, and she literally told me that a patent attorney in California admitted to her that patent attorneys are sometimes paid off in
Wow.
lawsuits. She literally admitted that to me. And I said, I always suspected that,
Hmm.
the way things happen with our situation, our lawsuit, but you can't put your hand on it. I mean,
Okay.
but you just know that unscrupulous things took place, and you're, just asking, well, why didn't they inform us of the settlement conference? Or why did these attorneys tell them to drop us? You know, and eventually they did end up dropping us because
Wow.
we received a letter from one of the defense attorneys telling us that our patent attorneys no longer represented us.
Wow.
So yeah, you just have to really, yeah, do
There are
your due diligence as best
due
as you
diligence.
could,
Yeah.
ask a lot of questions,
Hmm.
and referrals help. If they uh, are working with an attorney, or they might want to ask family, friends, anybody that has a patent that had to file a lawsuit.
Hmm.
How did this attorney handle their case? And just try to make the best selection with the information that you obtain from reliable sources.
This is interesting because there's lots, well, not lots. There are a few movies out there of people who losing control of their invention and their patents of that and things of that nature. You and I have discussed that probably few times before. Do you know of someone, for example, an inventor who's lost control of their invention uh, or some type of experience other than your own that you can contest to or tell us about? I think again, I see movies. I know a lot of people who have inventions and products and patents, but I can't say that I know. I think you should do a movie with your product, but I can't say I know anyone other than yourself that has gone through something like that. Who do you know a lot of people like that, or is it just? I know you went to DC, I think, and met some people, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
Tell
yes.
us about one of those people, or one of the patent people that has gotten patents that ran across some problems that was outstanding. Like, oh, I won't forget that.
Oh my goodness. When I did go to DC,
Hmm.
I met so many people that were in my shoe or in a similar shoe
Yeah. Okay.
as far as their patents were concerned.
Hmm.
Um, there was one lady that had, she had invented a special kind of jump rope,
Okay.
and yeah, and her patent was literally canceled, and there was a manufacturing company that told his story about about his company and his patent that was taken over.
Hmm.
There was another gentleman that told about an app that he had invented that
Okay.
a major giant is taking over. There was just one story after another. There was another lady that shared her story about magnetic eyelashes that someone took over.
Just snap them off.
And she had a success story because she stuck with it even
Hmm.
after being turned down by several attorneys, and she stuck with it, and she ended up winning. She ended up being successful. Yeah, so there's some
Okay.
success stories out there as well. We all know about the Joy story from the movie.
Yeah,
You
that's a good
know, we
movie. I like watching that.
yeah, we know about the guy from Ford, I believe, with the
Hmm.
windshield wiper.
Yep, yep. Seen that one.
And then I was just recently referred to a movie that also involved, this one guy and how his funeral business was taken over by
Hmm.
another company. That's a relatively newer movie that I think came out in 2023, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm. Hmm. So, knowing all this, what are some of the warning signs that, and when dealing with inventions, promotional companies, license firms, potential investors, what are some of the warning signs when they approach you with this? I can do this for you, or I can get you here, or I can get you this amount of money. What are the like? I don't know. What should a person look for or be afraid of for when that person gets approached by these people? Are they looking for how they're dressed, what color shoes they're wearing, what type of where do they come from, or what are they actually saying? Are they talking too slick? Or tell me maybe two or three warning signs that you may know of.
Well, I tell you, I must say the ones that we have dealt with
Hmm.
have been very smooth. They come in suits and ties. They're
Yeah,
dressed very professionally,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
executives, and they'll just, blow you away.
Hmm.
But then, you find out after the fact that this guy was not all that he, pretended to be after all.
Okay.
And then some, I think, I personally think that our former patent attorney, he started off on the right track from what we could see.
Hmm.
But he ended up bringing on what he called some lawyers to have more power, some trial attorneys,
Okay.
and and it just seems like that with that mix, things just started off powerful, strong. This is my patent. I wrote this patent. I know there's an infringement.
Uh-huh.
He was the one that encouraged us to file the lawsuit, so he felt strongly about it. We had expert patent opinions. One of them even said that it was punitive. Punitive was also involved because our patent was literally shared by this person, executive that I met, with this other major company, and they started making it, and his company started selling it.
Hmm.
So this was, you know, information that the judges could see in our
Yeah.
case.
Right. Right.
We filed after they dropped the case. We filed a motion to reopen the case based on a letter we received from the court itself, telling us about some unscrupulous dealings and asking
Hmm.
if we wanted relief. And we, asked to open a motion. We filed a motion to reopen the case,
Yeah.
sent all of our proofs, sent all the proofs we had, to
Right.
include stacks of advertisements that we were receiving from various companies that wanted to license, manufacture your product because it
Okay.
was brand new.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at the time, there wasn't anything like it on the market. And my former patent attorney said that there was a lot of them out there, and it was his intentions to go after them one at a time.
Hmm.
But in that process of starting out to do the right thing, there's just some unscrupulous dealings that took place. So I just want people to to be aware of that. I mean, don't always fall for executives and people that are dressed up in suits and ties and are, giving a good pitch.
Okay.
Be very cautious. Do your due diligence. Ask questions. Ask to speak to other people that they've worked with before, to see what you can find out before making a final decision.
So, as a member, I know you're a member of the Elite Inventors Guild, helping inventors avoid becoming victims of patent takeovers or bad business deals. What would be your role? What would you like to see happen to make sure no one gets done that way again
I
or
know
bad
that
deal?
they continue to work with us and asking us to contact our state representatives,
Okay.
which I have, and they are really working to bring more exposures of what happens
Hmm.
to inventors, and
Yeah.
how um, their products are taken and their patents are stolen, and a lot of times by giants.
Hmm.
So they're trying to bring awareness to that, and they're also working with Congress, with some representatives, to try to pass laws to protect inventors more
Okay.
than what's currently in place.
Okay. So, with all the new AI in place, what's your thoughts on AI as far as the artificial intelligence and how things are changing? How do you think it will affect patents, inventions, or intellectual properties over the next decade?
I think it will
Hmm.
impact inventions in a great way. In fact, there's some items and I found this out through the group. There's some items that are generated by AI that cannot be patented because they are, um, you know, formed by AI or by the use of AI.
Hmm.
So that's a current uh, situation that's being looked into at this
Hmm.
point. So it definitely could prevent some inventors from getting their products patented because they utilized AI.
Okay. So, as you yourself, your husband, and your daughter are inventors, what are some innovation things that you guys are thinking of that you're most proud of that you see on the horizon that's going to come out?
Well, we in this process we have had a non-working prototype done, and
Uh
then
huh.
we had another one um, done for a working model.
Okay.
Um, However, we have reservations because, again, as our former patent attorney said, there are so many out there. If we were to put what we have on the market, we would become infringers because there's
Yeah.
so many of them out there.
Yeah.
So we do have prototypes, but it's
I
just
w-
one of those situations. Do we even do anything because there's so many out there?
well,
So
if you
many.
do, I'm just thinking, I'm just spitballing. Wouldn't you want them to come after you? You could say, well, yeah, come on after me because you can't bring any proof that you had this product before I did. And that would speed the court system up because they're going to put money to try and go after you. Or do you think they're not going to go after you? They just go ahead and put it out there and do your thing. And we're all out here, after chasing after a dream. What do you think they would do?
Well, we actually had the proof, as our former patent attorney informed us, that the major company that infringed on our patent did not have a patent because
Hmm.
we had the patent.
Hmm.
But that still did not lead to any success in our
Okay.
lawsuit. You would think it would have because they didn't
Okay.
even have the patent. We have the patent, and the product that they did had was revised in 2009, which was the same year that our patent was shared with them.
Hmm.
you know. So if that didn't make a difference, I can't really say
Okay.
what would. I think it, we know that there were some a lot of successful stories.
Okay.
So it just it just depends. I think from what I understand too, it sometimes makes a difference where your patent lawsuit is filed.
Mm.
Yes, from what I
Talk
understand,
on that.
Michigan is not an ideal state where a patent lawsuit should be filed,
Oh,
but Texas is, and that's
okay.
the information I just recently,
That's
you
good
know,
intel. Good
yeah, that's
information.
what, yeah, exactly, because from what I understand, patent attorneys don't necessarily have to file in the state that you're in.
I
They
didn't
can
know that.
file from any state,
Wow.
from what I
Because this is a
understand.
government thing. Yeah, your patent is federal. It's not a state thing.
Yes, yes. So that's what I understand. It could depend on the state that you file your lawsuit in. That could make a difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? As an inventor listening to this show, The Circuit, has no money, has no business experience, has no patents, nothing like that. From what you're telling us, what would be like the first three steps they should take starting tomorrow morning? What should they do to get started on a nice foundation, nice base? What would you say to them?
For an inventor that does not have
That
any
has no
um,
money,
money, that does not have any money,
no patent,
the
no
first thing I would
business.
recommend is that they at first keep their idea to themselves, of
Okay.
course, write
Okay.
have everything written out, but it seems like the moment you start sharing things, that's when you start seeing things come out. Um, but they want to keep their invention to themselves, um, and maybe contact some of the programs that the state offer
Hmm.
and helping inventors through grants in different programs, because I found out about a lot of programs that are available to inventors if if you have a state of the art innovative product
Okay.
where you actually can get into um, a company that helps inventors bring their products, manufacture their products and even bring them to market. um, but so the stories could go either way. Some people could connect with the right company, get the grant, and their patent is not infringed upon. But then
Okay.
I've also had stories of how it worked the opposite way. These people that were supposed to help ended up, making the products for themselves. So even with that, I would recommend that they talk to people that has been successful in working with these companies that are offering the grant,
Hmm.
um, before entering in any kind of a agreement. I
What's
just
kept you
highly recommend.
motivated? I'm just so proud of you. What's kept you in the fight? What keeps you fighting another day? What is that secret sauce?
I'll tell you what has kept me in the fight. And my daughter is not in the fight. I'll say that. My
Hmm.
husband has gotten so discouraged, but because it was
Mm,
my daughter's invention,
right.
and I was there. I was
Hmm.
here when we were putting the makeshift product together for her to do the demonstration. At the end of the camp. So I saw her invention from a makeshift tool. I saw other children's inventions from a makeshift tools that they were just, um, demonstrating how it works and
Okay.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think about all that we put into it. I think about all that we spent. It truly was an investment. And
Yeah.
even though a lot of the investments, things that we invested in, companies that we invested in, it didn't turn out in our favor, but still it was a learning experience.
Right. Right. Right.
um,
Yeah.
and so we learn and we can share our experience with others, and that's the goal here as well, but also to appeal to people that are in power that can stop takeover of patents,
Mm-hmm.
because this happened to my daughters. I mean,
Yeah.
and she was only 7 years old.
Wow.
And she was the one that literally wrote the letter, when we did send the letter off to the major company that said they could get it put on their shelves. She was the one that wrote the letter, and my husband and I signed it along with her. And I think about all of that. And all of this was included. We provided all this information to our attorneys in the lawsuit, which again started off like really strong, really on fire. And, for things to have happened the way they have. And as I'm getting more information, as one attorney said to me a couple of years ago, just share the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to share some of the story here, on this platform.
So when history looks back on the stop movement, what do you hope inventors or people will say it accomplished next 5 or 10 years from now, or 30 or 100 years from now? What do you want it to say that it accomplished?
Well, I'm not naive to think that it would literally stop it altogether.
Okay.
But I'm hoping that it'll bring awareness, so that these giants and other companies that infringe on inventions would maybe think twice about it, and you'd see it lessened to a great extent, to a much greater extent.
Okay.
And I just want to be a part of that. There are others that are pushing for legislation and doing different things to protect inventors. So what little I can do in sharing our story and just sending a message to stop, is rewarding to me. That is rewarding, because even if it only helps one person, then I know it would not be in vain.
Okay. Well, you wear many hats: advocator, inventor, mentor, leader, entrepreneur. When those hats come off, who is the real Vernell? Who are you? What is it about you that you know about yourself that others don't know?
I'm very compassionate.
Okay.
And I have always been that way. I've always been a person that, wanted to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I have, found myself wearing a whole lot of hats and doing a whole lot of things and making a difference in many ways. And for that, I'm grateful.
Mm. But now we wrap it up. I want to give you the final word about your program and your stop that you're putting out there. You have the floor. Anything else you want to add to that? Because I want to thank you before you get started. I appreciate you and love you for being on my show and bringing this to everyone's attention. Anything you would like to add to your stop that you may have missed, or I didn't ask the question that you want to get out there?
I just want to add, should some of the people, and you know who you are, happen to watch this video, if you can do the right thing, I hope that you would have the heart to do the right thing. And you know what the right thing is.
Well said. Well said. Vernell Wilson. I think you done it. I think you put it out there, and I think it's going to be well received. And if anything else that you think you need from me or anybody that on my staff, you have my number. I want to tell you thank you so much for being on the Circuits podcast. It's been a minute for me to try and get Vernell on the show, but I finally got her, and we're going to get this out to the right people so they can see this and view this at the museum out in New York. And I think a change is going to come. It comes in strides, and you have to make steps. So I believe that if you put one step out, God will do the rest. He'll make two.
I believe that too. I believe that too. Thank you so much, Derek. I appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you. Much love to you. All right. So again, we'll say goodbye. This is the Circuit, DC, Washington, and Vernell Wilson. Bye, y'all.